Welcome, everyone, to the Bcamp podcast. Today, we have with us Elena Vid, who is the head of AI architecture at NAX. We are so lucky to have you with us today, Elena, and excited for this conversation. So why don't you start off and just tell us a little bit about yourself, your role, and how you got where you're at.
Thank you so much, Richard, for having me. Very excited. I really love your school, first of all. Very excited for your students, how they will develop and basically join such a new area as AI and help to build it actually, because it's an area where there's a lot of innovation happening on the go and every business creating their own framework partially. Because while the main companies like OpenAI, NVIDIA, Llama, right, they help us with framework, the actual integration and use cases, it's completely depend on company by company, which is built by people. So in my role, I am helping integrate AI in new ventures. So I'm looking on the assets of the company, depending what they have, right? It's a brand, it's a user base, is it, I would say, it's the data, the transactional data, is it sentiment data? And we'll see what we can do with this data, obviously using AI, to create new revenue.
I love it, and appreciate the enthusiasm as well for the students. Like you said, one of the reasons we started this podcast is basically to talk to people that are on the ground. What are people actually implementing? I find one of the challenges is to sort of like get through the hype. There's all this hype out there. You get down to like, what are actually people building? So I love that approach. So maybe could you tell us a little bit about how you got into AI?
Oh, yeah, of course. So basically, I started working in startup. And startup is the usual area which I enjoy a lot when you can try many different things. And I started like a product design, and part of the product design is understanding of the user preference, right? Integration into product, analyze the product market fit. And you can't do it without data. Everything will go wrong from day one before you start even building anything. So to analyze all of this data, I started simple, just from user interviews, as we know, like 80-20, right? Just send people, see what's the common patterns. And next, I got very curious because we had a limited time as usual and limited resources, and I wanted to make a marketing campaign very targeted. And I started to analyze what's the visual language and sentiment respond. And the more curious you become, the more data you want to have. You become greedy, basically. And analyzing more and more data, I understand like where is a gap in our product market fit. And moving to consulting, I start to build ventures from scratch to understand the big patterns of data. And my huge dream is a cross section of different data to uncover a unique insights, which is link in a different pattern overlapping between itself.
Wow, I love that. That's amazing. And I love this idea about product market fit that, like you said, if you don't start with something that's going to be a product market fit, you might as, you're doomed from the beginning, maybe. What do you have any advice or thoughts about how people can go about determining whether they're have a product market fit or to find a product market fit?
As obviously I speak with a lot of like engineers in the research and the business. Many engineers started to like in the UK being native, they starting to build their own business, and they starting to build very, very useful, interesting product. And next they didn't fly. The product is perfect, and by didn't fly, I mean there is nobody paid for this. Like as as cruel as might sound, like the kill idea, what if you do something good, it will work out. No, no. So, and people, I understand there is a concept, okay, find something what people need. People don't do what they need. They don't eat healthy, most people don't run and such and such. They actually invest in what they want. So, and we entering the field of psychology and actually ability to listen people, right? And there is a very important moment to start listening and next stop listening. So it's you want to start to speak with your customers, not your friends, never your investors, and never, I would say, um, because you get biased, right? By
Hmm.
default, you bias. You like good researcher knows how to fight these demons. But what we get into, like we start to speak with people who we appreciate most, right? It's our investors, our founders, it's people who really very prominent in the industry, but it's not the people who will buy your product
Hmm.
in most cases. And then this is how we get in a loop. So the best advice it's get completely like new alter ego and speak with the customers. Don't say you're a founder. They will be try to help you. They will lie to you. And, speak with right people, understand who they are, and do a lot of user testing, like before you even build, because people are very excited to start something, build, to show, to get credit. If your end goal it's not brand, it's a revenue, you
Hmm.
should understand end goal. And many people get amazing, they get there, they get revenue through the branding. But if you go to revenue, you should start like from very rough conversations before you even touch the code.
Interesting. I love this. Do you have an example of this process that you can think of?
Let me think. Like I will try to think about something like when we were completely wrong. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have. Like okay. Now I need to mention it so nobody guessed what the product was. So basically, we was building something very technological in finance sector, and we was expecting who's our main persona will be a new funder,
Hmm.
finance bro who in a specific pay cut from 250 to 500,
Hmm.
and how we scale it and what his interest. It's a technology, blockchain, usual, right? As the sport cars, is traveling. And after we did the user interviews and see some data, we understood what our main auditory, it's moms in suburbs. So, and our whole branding was built on the perception of people who basically spoke with their friends, right? Do you like
Hmm.
it? Do your friend? Of course. Oh my God. Yes. You're doing amazing. Completely support you as your friends. But your
Hmm.
auditory might be completely different. That's why I would say these conversations with your investors, with your funders, with friends of your founder, with other partners should be after you spoke to the users, your potential users in the market. And before you even start speaking with user, you need to see what's the market mood, right? Where is the money goes.
Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm feeling a little feeling a little exposed in this
Oh no.
conversation because we don't do any product market fit stuff in Bcamp. So we need to do something about this. You have a talent for really getting down to what matters, even in our other conversations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Not many people like it, so I appreciate it. So basically, how would say you, as I noticed, you're targeting experience, right? You create projects for experience so people get a taste. So they get like interest, they get the spark, to build the
Hmm.
project. So it's
Hmm.
amazing start. And I think it will work very well for people who want to work on research and new innovation in a big corporation, for instance, like um, Google, right, on the research side, on the OpenAI on the research side, there is a project and innovation iteration not directly connected with revenue. This is where you can be separated from product market fit. There is a people have a special branch for innovation, right, and they can
Hmm.
spend millions and millions to try different things.
Hmm.
If you have a little bit of blood of founder, and you wanna start, for instance, work for several companies, next open your own company, I would work for company for works for revenue. I understand how the business works, business models, how technology reshape it fundamentally right now, all the business models and the approach to business. And basically when we hear what companies will be one person company with billion of revenue. It's what's happening.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. So one question, if you um is there anything that you've seen recently where you're like, wow, that's a fantastic product market fit? Like if you were going to go out and start a company and build a product tomorrow, is there an idea of like, ooh, I would go into this industry or, work on this type of project?
Which, how would say? I can tell you what I want to build because there is a kind of breadcrumbs from different areas, right?
Hmm.
Which if we connect together, which is completely 100% go there, it will
Hmm.
be very interesting. Just disclaimer, I have no like fear or safety precautions while I'm thinking about these projects. They should be, but they should be built by different people because
Hmm.
I have this flow. I can't estimate how it can be used wrong. So I have engineering partners who always tell me like, wait a second. I'm like, no, wait. And they're like, yes, people will. So one of the, I think, very interesting product market fit on a recent conference, AI integration in enterprise, one of the speakers was talking about how they make AI uh, watch movies and perceive the story and make sure this if they should adopt this like movie in production or not based on the audience, if the story
Mm.
will speak to the audience. This is ideal product market fit. And I think every single product goes slowly to this niche when you know your users so well what you can offer very customized solutions for very selected people. Right now, it's like very generalized, right? By age, income, is a preference on the product.
Hmm.
So these unique offerings will be more and more tailored to specific audience. And it's regarding digital humans, which will assist more and more, right, in different patterns, which I'm personally very interested. It's on your, as we can see, on your preference in movies, in stories, in products. Technology will help us to understand each other better, I think.
Interesting. This is fascinating. So, if I understand this correctly, they're building like an AI agent audience, and then that AI agent watches the movie and tells you if that audience would like it or not. Is that right? Like you're
Yeah,
training an
but it,
audience based off of real data. Is that right?
yeah, yes. Yeah, it's like they already did it successfully and it's already turned into revenue.
Yeah. So they can, yeah, exactly. That's fascinating. And then the AI can probably evaluate itself much better than a real audience can to tell you like, hey, maybe there's these specific niches of the audience that would really resonate with it or something. Is that the idea?
For instance, like you, I think you understand everything, right? It's like it's just maybe I don't give you enough information. For instance, you get a Twitter data, you split your data on different user profiles. You understand people who understand horrors, and this is the usual
Hmm.
conversations, like based on sentiment, is people discussing because it's a company who streaming the movies. They actually not only see what people talking about, they see where we're paying for. So what's a how to say? What's usual friction? It's what people say, it's not what they do.
Hmm.
And as soon as a company have an actual transaction when people spend money and their sentiment, they can see, okay, these people have a this persona. Next AI can adopt this persona and
Hmm.
couple others. You tell the AI agent how they behave, what's the evidence, and they watch the movie. And next,
Hmm.
the company can estimate the revenue from showing the movie on the platform, they estimate views, right? The recommendations, what would be next, and such, and cross-selling products, many things.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, this is cool. I love this idea. No, I love this. So maybe what advice would you give to engineers who are looking to get into AI development?
AI development for
And say,
profit.
yeah, so say for example, like say somebody was actually going to take this idea to market
Mhm.
and they need to go hire a team of engineers to build it or something, or maybe they don't. But what would you like advice would you give for people to trying to get a job like building that solution or a similar solution?
So, like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? The culture of engineering, it's a very, I'd say, peers approve base. How hard will be this task, the community vote, and how much time you will develop this task. It's it's get a little bit isolated from business. So if you want to work for company for profit, you need to think a little bit as a founder. So as
Mhm.
soon if you make a like project proposal, you just talk about yourself, think as a business. Because like your solutions in code, how they affect business. What's the return on this solution? Who needs to be involved? Why we need it? And nobody get prizes in business for most clean code ever. Like I understand the need to be the best, but in the companies for profit, best it's the one who survived
Mhm.
revenue and got a return on investment. It's not a cleanest code. It's not publishing your code on GitHub. It's not your pals telling you such a nice connection. No. And it's completely transitioned from thinking I have an engineer reputation to I have a founder. I'm a founder of my initiative, right, in this project.
Yeah. No, I love this. Like if everyone thought of themselves as a founder, that would change how teams operate. That's very interesting. I love that. Okay, changing gears just a little bit. So Bcamp again, we're approaching education a little bit different. And so I like to ask people some of your worst or best experiences from your own education.
Maybe not like very specific. My worst educational experience incorporate mentoring. When somebody incorporate assigned you a mentor, it's
Mm.
basically the worst because people don't get paid for this. They're not very excited and they don't have like no return on your growth. They basically return, they train someone who will take their position. This is how it's perceived. And it's not a blame of the mentor, it's a blame of the system, right?
Hmm.
And obviously, they don't want to do that, but they still taking credit. And as a person who like kind of receiving mentorship, you have to say it's great to maintain relationship because everybody incorporate it's a happy family, right? So I think the framework is just horrible in this case. And
Wow.
correct me, like I'm open to other people experience. Like I know some people have amazing experience. I just never met these people. I read about them. I read in LinkedIn like amazing story about mentorship. I just know I like open. Please email me if you want to mentor me. Open about this.
No, I'm a little surprised and I love this. I love this train of thought. And it's just like, it kind of blew my mind actually. So I'm like still processing. I'm going to follow up because you're right. Like people are incentivized to say they like this mentorship experience, but like you're right. I don't know people who, when they're assigned a mentor, it actually works. So I don't even know how to respond to this. It's again going back to you really can get down to the what matters very quickly. This is it's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you. Regarding the best one, I get connected absolutely accidentally with researchers on AI field. One of them, it's a maybe you will partner one day. Liz developer, she's running multiverse school, and they based their, how to say, education and conversation communities on a research base. So as soon as something new in technology drop, like very rough, like agents, OpenAI just drove the agents like a couple days ago, everybody start testing it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I like about it is like you have immediately vision what is not working in the newest framework ever. And
Mm-hmm.
they created this community based on just experimenting on all AI and between completely different people. It's a business, it's a creative, it's obviously engineering, robotics, it's a philosophy because like when you build agents, right, loops of the agents, how these agents interact with kind of data in hierarchy will be there.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important because it's a reflection of human consciousness, right, and operations. But you need to be very specific when you create this relationship between agents. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen the research on how AI agents build Minecraft?
No, but it sounds
Oh,
cool.
it is so one, it was amazing. First of all, AI agents the most polite conversations I ever seen. I really enjoy reading. Would you mind to pass me a wood? Yes, of course. Let me help you. And next, one agent decided what another agent is not efficient and just killed it, like because you didn't set up expectations what efficiency will be.
Mm-hmm.
And it was perfectly logical. So you can be mad, right? But it wasn't the solution you would be expect. It's pretty old research. It's very interesting. I will share with you.
So this is like Lord of the Flies for AI agents. Sounds like.
It's very interesting. Like I was on this conference OpenAI when they dropped the Strawberry model, right? O1
Mm-hmm.
in San Francisco a week ago as a new model which can think and it shows you how it thinks. And it's not how I thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mimicking some like psychological framework, obviously, but it's something where you can contribute. So because product, when engineering builds a product, there is not only marketing fit, it's adoption, how
Mm-hmm.
we interact. That's why OpenAI released its new voice API,
Mm-hmm.
real time. And I think this is how we will be mostly interact with AI products.
Mm-hmm.
You see what's happening? I started touching everything in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Help me to stay focused.
No, this is great. This is fascinating. Well, I love this. Thank you so much, Elena, for for joining us today. Any final thoughts or comments before we wrap this up?
Basically, let me know if you have ideas. Happy to collaborate, happy to discuss more on how like engineering building AI, and happy to stay in touch.